We are delighted to be joined by Ben from Zebedee. Ben, what is Zebedee all about?
Zebedee is a fintech. We're a payment services provider for the games industry, and we use Bitcoin to do it, but we put money in games effectively. So money is now actually part of the game and not an abstracted thing represented through games currencies, etc.
Right. So, but you could say we've been paying money into games for years now. Everyone is very familiar with 99 pence for a little hat and something and doing IAPs, and then technically your money has been put into the game. How does this differ?
Yeah, that's funny. That's what I talk about. So yeah, we've had coin-op machines in the 80s where you insert a coin and you get value in the playtime. Games often represent money. So Grand Theft Auto, you win money, and the objective is to be the richest guy in the city or whatever. But the value exchange is not bi-directional, and it's not actually linked. You don't really have money in the game, and that's because money is an analog thing. So we have all of these ways of working around it, like topping up balances, and then the games company is the custodian of the money. This is all friction, and it's a bad user experience. So we can actually make it a seamless part of the flow of the game in a regulated and compliant way. And we believe it increases conversion, it increases retention, it increases engagement, and generally improves the performance of the game for both the player and the developer.
So in a lot of cases, people are already putting money into games, but also, and we talked about this before, you can go and start sort of sell items or trade items within games already. You can sell objects to other players or build of characters or whatever it might be, but this is all kind of done outside of the game. This is done through people negotiating and then using, I don't know, grey sites or just swapping money via PayPal or whatever. Is the idea that you're trying to make this an integrated part of the system and all of these kind of transactions could take place within the game?
Yes, that is one usage of our payment tech. So you hit the nail on the head. A lot of players already transact through grey market economies. There's high incidences of fraud. The developer has no recourse to help if there's any issues and they can't support it. Often as a result, they prohibit the behavior. They say if you get caught doing it, we'll block your accounts. We can allow that to occur in-game in a way that the developer sees and gets a cut of what is happening, which is already an organic player behavior. And it's happening in a way that you're not triggering anti-money laundering restrictions or fears. Players are KYC'd properly. So all of this economic activity, which is occurring already, can now be brought into the game and made part of the monetization of that product. It's a new revenue stream that is enabling something that already occurred. If that makes sense.
Because I think a lot of people, and myself included, when they see like, oh, you're putting bitcoins into games, my mind immediately goes to, okay, so this is a Web 3.0 thing, this is about the blockchain somehow, but it's not necessarily that, is it?
No, it is and it isn't, in that we're using Bitcoin, and that primes a lot of people to think that way, but we're really using it because it's an inherently better payments technology. It's natively digital, it's open source, and it's interoperable. It also has really easy on and off ramps. It's deeply liquid worldwide, and it is at this point regulated and understood. It's regulated in the US, it's regulated in Europe, it's regulated in Japan. Those are the three big gaming markets, and so now you can actually pretty seamlessly flip between Bitcoin and your local currency, whether that's pounds, euros, or dollars. So what we can then enable is tiny transactions. You're talking 1,000th of a cent can now be sent in-game, in real time, based on events that occur in the game, like as simple as a player walking over a coin or collecting a coin, or trading player to player, or meeting in a marketplace. All of this stuff can now be enabled at the nano transaction level with easy access back to real money, so to speak.
Right. Without going too techy, like my understanding of Bitcoin is that one of the drawbacks has always been that the transaction time, the processing time is significantly longer than a lot of other payment systems. So when you're talking about little microtransactions and you know you click something and then bang, it's in your wallet. Is it really immediately in your wallet, or is there's going to be a day or two before it pops up?
No, it's really so a common misconception is exactly that Bitcoin's slow. But in 2017 there was a software update to Bitcoin called Lightning. We build on top of Lightning and on top of Bitcoin. So it's Bitcoin, Lightning, and then us. And Lightning enables instant transactions globally, and it's very fast. It's so fast you can actually stream money. So I could walk into an area of a game, and that could perhaps trigger me being paid per second that I'm walking around that area. All of this is now possible when money is a digital programmable thing.
And I'm imagining you guys offer like SDKs to build it into games, and following up to that, I know that with certain app stores, that when you're dealing with mobile, Google's always been pretty open or slightly more relaxed, but certainly Apple are very restrictive about what they do and do not allow on their app store, especially when it comes to creating what they consider to be little mini marketplaces embedded within games. Now, that's come to light a lot more recently with the Apple versus Fortnite thing, and there's a chance that walled garden may be coming down a bit, but I imagine you still encounter a little bit of friction there as well.
Yes. So, well, it's a good question. So, in answer to the first part of your question, we offer an API and a Unity SDK, Unreal SDK coming soon, as well as additional developer tools around it. We've also built integrations with places that gamers often are. So, Discord, Twitch, all of these we want the Zebedee app to be with you wherever you go, kind of like a Pokedex in Pokemon. That's the idea. But then in response to the second part about app stores, we're actually, there's 12 or so games now powered by us in the App Store. We've had no issues with Apple or Google to date. We do not advocate that developers try and get around in-app purchases within Apple's thing. So, we don't it's completely possible with the technology, but we do not tell a developer, hey, do all of your IAP with Bitcoin and you'll be fine, because you won't be. Apple will take objection to that. But rewarding players with Bitcoin and having Bitcoin in your game, that is permitted. And we've seen that pretty consistently. We've had some very high-level conversations with Apple around this, and we seem to be okay there. With regards to the kind of macro shifting landscape as to payments in mobile ecosystems, I do suspect that Apple's hold over that ecosystem is going to weaken over time. We've seen the Netherlands has enforced open payment standards within dating apps for whatever reason they chose to focus there. So I can see that over time, it's perfectly plausible that more and more payment systems will be permitted within app stores, and we'd be ready to be there as soon as that happens.
And do you have any games out there in the wild that are currently using the system, or are you in the kind of beta testing with a bunch of companies?
No, we've got quite a few games out now. So yeah, there's north of 20 developers now building on Zebedee, of which there's 12 who've got their games out in the App Store. The latest is a game from Fun Games called Bitcoin Miner, which is, as you might expect, you mine Bitcoin in the game, but it's real Bitcoin that you're earning. But we've also got implementations in some PC console stuff as well. So probably what we were most well known for when we got started was we integrated our tech into Counter-Strike to show off what it can do. And that we didn't intend that to be a fully fledged product. It's over a year old now, but the servers are still full, so we're still running it.
That's a fairly high profile kind of launch pad for that sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously did it deliberately, but I think esports is a very logical place to put in something like this. It's already competitive play. There's already esports tournaments around it, so why not put that skin in the game, really? And I don't think it can be considered gambling as much as skill-based gaming, because it really is definitively your skill. You have to actually be beating other players because they drop coins when they die, and we can measure everything going on in game events to actually trigger those payments. So it's very much a skill-based competition where now there is something on the line. And I personally feel it democratizes esports. If you're good, you can actually start to earn some money in your bedroom, and we've seen that happening in Brazil. We've got a sizable audience there, and they've actually been earning enough money to pay for food and buy gifts and things for friends and family just through this Counter-Strike integration we've done.
I know people have been talking obviously a lot about play to earn recently, and there's a real division of opinion on that one, whether it's kind of a positive that allows people to, generate actual benefits, financial benefits from the time they're putting in, which a lot of people see as like, maybe without it, this is a wasted effort, and now I'm actually getting something back from the time I invest. So it's an ROI, I guess. But other people think it's much more of the moment you start treating games like that, it becomes work, and suddenly you're dealing with a labor market that can be easily exploited and all of this stuff. So what are the feelings around that? Because obviously, if you're introducing these kind of payment systems, it can facilitate that kind of use.
Yeah, I think I think play and earn, or play to earn, whatever bucket it gets put into, is it rubs people the wrong way, because it very quickly looks like what I would call the hyper-financialisation of gaming. And people don't, gaming is meant to be entertainment, and if you take it out of entertainment, is it really gaming anymore? Is it interactive entertainment, or is it labor and work? we very much feel we're a payments company. We're not advocating for these. We don't, do tokenomic designs around gameplay, etc., where the idea is to earn, really colossal amounts of money. This is much more about very smooth payment flow, improving UX for existing and new games. When we look at play and earn gaming, because obviously we can do it, the technology enables it, we very much feel as a company that you need to respect the individual, and by respecting the individual, it means give them the money. Don't give them an abstracted form of money or a difficult form of money where you can't get it out. You can't, once you try to extract from that economy, that actually what you get is pennies on the dollar, and your time has been wasted, or your time was not valued appropriately. I think you need to give people real money. You need to give them dollars. You need to give them pounds. You need to give them euros. You need to give them yen. And that's why we focus on actually getting people back to their bank account. It's not all about Bitcoin. It's about having this two-way value transfer and making it really part of the fabric of gaming.